the first one I think I'd love to ask you, and maybe we could start with you, Rachel, and then come on to Emma, was what was your why? What compelled you to take action in the end? Was there a specific event? Did something happen, or was it just a compounding effect?
I think there were two main reasons. One was I'm a mother of four boys, and I felt very strongly that if I was in travel, I needed to do it properly for their futures as well. I don't want to damage the earth. That was what I was thinking at the beginning. But what really took me by surprise, or what made me think about doing this, was when I was approached by by somebody at a fair, a green, sustainable fair, and they came over to me and said, "What the hell are you doing here? Why are you exhibiting? This shouldn't be. This is not your space." And I didn't have the right answers, and I was looking for something that would give me the knowledge to actually answer effectively. I sort of bumbled around and said a few things. Well, travel is important. People live off tourism, etc. But that really made me think I've got to get some solid knowledge behind me.
Yeah, wow. So not the most, it's not an ideal situation, but it was that kind of being confronted with someone that was asking questions and having the confidence, am I right, to respond, to be able to at
Yes.
least have the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
And
interesting.
say the right thing, actually back it up with knowledge rather than faffing around, which is what I did, and try to say the right thing, but actually know that you're coming from a place of knowledge. That's what I felt important.
It's empowering, right? And would
Yeah.
you say today, I'm keen not to kind of jump ahead too much because I'd love to talk about later in the questions the change, but would you say today, if we put you in that exact same situation, it would be a different outcome?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, interesting.
Definitely.
So someone that networks a lot, we'll talk about that later as well, and that kind of put yourself out there in conversations. You felt this feeling of being caught out. It was actually real. It played out to you in reality.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Cool. So it sounds like a compounding effect with your consideration of your family, but also a very specific moment that made you realize I need to do something. Same question to you, Emma. What was your why?
Okay, I keep losing connections, so hopefully I'll stay with you. So my why was basically to get back on track. I set up Tribe, which is my travel business, off the back of a love of exploring, and I wanted to continue exploring with my children. So that was my reason to go and do immersive adventures with them. And so I was working it all up, and then the pandemic hit, and I kind of fell out of the industry for a little while. I came back into it with travel counsellors, and then I kind of got whipped up in the whirlwind of travel counsellors inductions and sell, and all the offers that come out and all the cruise advertising. And I lost my way completely. And I was like, hang on a minute, this is not why I started this up at all. I just felt I'd gone completely the wrong direction. So I kind of sorted myself out. I went to a TTG sustainability event in London, which is where I met actually both of you for the first time. So I learned about Kawano then, and it just felt like that was the reason I was there. Like Rebecca reminded me that travel can be a force for good. So that's what kind of led me to enroll on the course and try and get back on track with a responsible, ethical travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being so honest and transparent, I guess, about feeling lost, Emma, and being swept up in the industry that you love, but maybe the connection between your kind of ethics and who Emma is didn't connect to what you were putting out to the world, if
Yeah,
I've understood that right.
yeah,
And it was
definitely.
that
Yeah.
kind of instinct, that gut feeling inside where you just like, I need to make the connection between my business and my own personal values and mission to connect.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's super interesting. Very different answers there. Very different, but both kind of compelled by this kind of feeling and instinct that you needed to take action. I'm going to
Yes.
jump on to the next question. So, yeah, could you guys, I'll start with you, Emma, if that's okay to switch it up. Could you give me an example of something that's maybe changed in your business since you've not only embarked on the level 1 course, you graduated, but the community. Like, how is there something specific about your business that's changed that will help people here today understand something tangible, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it has definitely changed my business. I got it back on track. So I'm now definitely selling more immersive, adventurous, responsible travel, which is what I wanted to do. And I think what's changed mainly is because I've had the confidence and the knowledge now to just do this. I just present all of my proposals to clients as default as a responsible and ethical itinerary. It's not really something I actively sell. I just produce itineraries, I guess, that are ethical. So it's just my default now, and that probably wasn't the case when I was restarting again and got a bit lost. So that's like something that's definitely changed. And then on top of that, I think the most valuable thing about doing the course and then joining the Kawana community has just been there's such a huge knowledge resource in the community. Like you just learn countless things every day. There's so many people that are just hot on the subject now, and you just have a point of call to go if you need any advice. And also the community's made me think of things that I probably would never have even kind of crossed my mind before. Just think, well, for example, I'm now looking into, I've just signed up to support a rewilding project, and that just wouldn't have actually crossed my mind before. I chatted to everyone in the community. So it's just like everyday things that it's been really, really invaluable.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And your point around default, like rather than it being an opt-in option, like a secondary option of maybe a more sustainable, consciously led, purpose-led trip, you
Yeah.
just get the default. And for people that are interested in learning more about that, there's so much now being talked about by the leaders and people I look up to in this industry around making it the default. You can check the Behind the Green interview on our website with Rochelle from Exodus Travels, and she talks about how we must make this the default rather than give people the choice. We've got to drive it from the industry rather than from the other side of things. So that's really interesting that actually changed the way you present your bookings. That's massive.
Yeah, and it just influences people because people don't come and necessarily ask for a sustainable itinerary, but they end up booking it, which is kind of just changing customer actions, I guess, off the back of knowledge. Yeah.
That's amazing. Cool. Thank you, Emma. Rachel, same question to you.
So I would say that having far more conversations about sustainability. I'm not in such a fortunate position as Emma in terms of being able to choose DMCs and things. So we're sort of bound by what we have to offer. Therefore, I think it's quite important to bring the conversation up. And I had somebody that was going, dare I say, on a cruise, and they were going to go. They said they wanted me to book them on a dolphin experience, swimming with dolphins. And I had a conversation with them and said that I wouldn't book it, and explain the reasons why. And they went on the cruise, and actually they came back, and I obviously always do the welcome home call, and they had been on that experience. They booked it themselves. But what was fantastic about it is that they said, but you were there on my shoulder the whole time, and I was looking at it from the point of view of what you'd said to me, and I will never do it again. So actually, although I didn't change the initial outcome, I did change, far more importantly, the future outcome. So I that having that power, if you like, to be able to, and see it visibly that you've made a difference, you have changed somebody's mind, and just having those conversations and feeling competent to have those conversations is amazing, and it's such an empowering feeling.
Absolutely, that's huge. And like you said, it's, surely that they came back to you and talked to you about it, that instilled more trust and belief in that you've got this information above the destinations to go to, the experiences to get, but this extra layer of value of this ethical, integral, part of your business that has more value and differentiates you. And that's so interesting that they came back and said that just wasn't right. So that's awesome that you've changed that mind. And I know you've changed many more, Rachel, because you've had lots of these conversations. So fundamentally for you, it's changed the conversations you have with clients and your confidence to try and help change their minds.
Yes.
on topics. Interesting. Right. Let's jump into the third question. There's no doubt that enrolling in, we're going to go into the specifics of what the online learning is about, but it is an investment of time. It is an investment of money, particularly for small business owners. This is quite an abrupt question, but is it worth it? I guess I'm hoping you say yes.
Are you going to ask me?
Let's start with you, Rachel.
Yeah, well, I would say 110% it's worth it. It's worth it from a business point of view, because I think if you sell more ethical holidays, they do tend to be more expensive anyway. So you do make more money, but it's worth it for a personal point of view. You learn so much from the course that it gives you such a platform of knowledge. I think I can't really express it. I would just say 110% it's worth it. I'm very passionate about it, in case you haven't noticed.
We can feel it. We can feel your passion. Thank you, Rachel. Same question to you, Emma.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I probably waffled on before and answered this question already, but yeah, it's empowered you to just feel like you can sell this immersive experiences properly, and it's given you a community of people that have such a wealth of knowledge. And I think also it's just made me feel better about what I'm selling. I feel like it's not always about the sales. Like, obviously it is, it's our job, but you want to genuinely feel like you're selling something good, and selling something that people will enjoy, but it's also not harming anyone or anything. So yes, it is 100% worth it. Do it.
Yeah, you mentioned about that kind of community to lean on, and we're going to come up afterwards about the courses, really just the beginning. I think that leads on to the next one. Once you graduate, that's when the journey begins. Well, really begins. That's what I keep saying to people. I guess my question is, does that ring true, that once you graduate, that's really the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. You keep learning and you keep wanting to learn, and you've recommended so many books and programs and websites and podcasts to go and explore. And following on from the masterclass as well, Rebecca organises loads of educational catch-ups, which are also invaluable, and I've never come across them anywhere else. So yeah, it is a constant journey. You never feel like you know it all, but it just gives you a taste for it, and you just want to keep learning.
Yeah, it gives you this hunger and appetite. And I think if anybody's listening that doesn't want that, they best not to enroll, because you are going to leave feeling like, I want to learn more, and that's part of the community. So yeah, it's a big part. The community's a big part for you as well, isn't it, Rachel?
Yeah, definitely. And I sort of feel that you've put the wrong word there, graduating, because I don't feel that I have graduated yet. I feel that I've just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And actually what it did do is open up a whole Pandora's box, in the sense that you realize how much you don't know and how much there is to learn. And it's a great introduction and the platform to bounce off to learn even more. It makes you thirsty for knowledge, which is great.
Yeah, I love that, Pandora. But I'm going to take your feedback, Rachel, and update that word, because I think you're right. It isn't, and sustainability in any sense is this journey, this never-ending evolution, and it doesn't have a goal nor a destination. And I think that's what makes it really exciting. Is it's this adventure to embark on. And I know you guys feel the same as we go through this. So I think I've got one more question. And, maybe we've touched on this, but if something else does come to mind, do share. What is the single biggest gain from being part of the community? Or if you want, two things, but what do you feel like the biggest gain is?
I'd say two things. Obviously I can't keep to one.
I'd say
definitely confidence. So for me, I've definitely gained confidence. And Rebecca, you love the fact that when I was at the Jet2 at the Travel Weekly sustainability event recently, I actually put my hand up to ask a question, to ask Steve Heapy a question, because he was talking about how fantastic Jet2 were at in their sustainable credentials, which actually, you know, by and large they are. But I had to bring up the fact that they still sell dolphin experiences. I would never have done that before doing this course. Never in a million years. And that it was an empowering feeling. And I felt really good about doing it because I knew I was asking the right question and really sort of pushing the right buttons. So that was good. But also being part of the community, as Emma has said, is just having that group of people that you can turn to if you've got a question. It's a bank of knowledge, and it's just great mixing with like-minded people.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And yes, I remember running over to you after that event and hugging you and saying how proud I was. I've seen your evolution or your first steps of sustainability years and years ago. You know, we've known each other 3-4 years, I think now, a long time. And you know, seeing you do that, it was such a milestone that you felt empowered to ask questions. And it wasn't just about you asking the question. Everybody else in the room got to hear and planted that seed on okay, sustainability is about carbon and all these things you're talking about, Jet2 Holidays, but actually it's also about ethics, and animal welfare sits within that space. So it was wonderful to see you. That was just this next level of your journey, of you really talking and standing up for what you believe in. Emma, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Mine was similar about the community. I think it's just, I feel like I have some allies in this space now. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you just have a group of people that really are on the same wavelength and want to try and elevate travel and make it a real force for good. That's been my biggest takeaway.